Previously on Two Idiots and a Mic. Marcos wants to dream about Cortana.
He has some type of dream about Cortana. Oh, she's still alive. Let's go find her.
I want to dream about Cortana.
And that's, well, it's a different story.
Marcos seems strangely interested in cybernetic genitalia.
They're saved by giving them augmented limbs and stuff like that.
What
so
about their genitalia?
Better. I believe, even if you lose just one testicle, you get a robotic testicle.
Does it have powers?
Marcos gives his 2 cents on Lewis's 2 cents.
But yeah, that's my 2 cents on Halo and Call of Duty.
I didn't want him, but I'll take him.
Weapons!
All right.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Two Idiots and a Mic. My name is Lewis.
And I'm Marcos.
And today we're going to be touching on a few things. We got ourselves...
We're touching them? Is it with consent?
Oh, with full consent. I mean, there's no other way. I mean, otherwise, really, look at us. Who wouldn't consent? Come on. But anyway, We've got Outcasts, which is a comic book by Robert Kirkman of Walking Dead fame. And we'll be also touching on the anime that came out earlier this year in the summers called, I'm probably going to butcher this, but is Himouto Umaru-Chan. Story of a high schooler who is crazy awesome during the day and then a nerd by night when she gets home. And then we'll finally top it off with some more talk on Star Wars Battlefront since the game is finally out and we've been doing nothing but Battlefront since that thing hit.
Disclaimer, we did want to talk about Fallout 4. Lewis actually isn't playing it per se.
Nope.
His wife is. I have played a few hours of it, but I honestly don't feel too comfortable with talking about that just yet, just because I haven't had much of game time, just due to external stuff and plus just playing the hell out of Star Wars Battlefront. But we will touch up on that eventually. I'd rather put in some good time with the game before we actually go into depth with that.
Yeah, you got to kill some more NPCs and ghouls and innocent people before you get into that. So yeah.
Yeah, there's a quote I got to meet first before my.
Awesome. But I guess I'll pass it over to you, man. Let's talk about Robert Kirkman's Outcast. What do you got, man?
Right. All right. Well, Outcast.
I don't like it.
You mentioned, huh?
I don't like it.
Yeah, I hate you. So anyways, hatred for Lewis aside, Outcast is, as you mentioned, written by Robert Kirkman. It's also drawn by Paul Azaceta. Paul Azaceta, I didn't know who the guy was until I looked him up, to be honest with you. He has done some stuff for Marvel, Amazing Spider-Man, some other comics as well. The main one for me that drew me into looking into this comic was Robert Kirkman. I'm a huge fan of Walking Dead. Those of you who know me or follow me on social media whatsoever do know this. Love the comics. That's where I actually started reading that first before the show became a big hit, and have been a big fan. Been a little bit behind, but I've been trying to catch up. But I love the guy's writing. I think he's a fantastic author. So just on that fact alone, I was immediately drawn to checking this new comic that he has called Outcasts out. It's fairly recent. I believe there's 14 issues out right now. So it's still easy to catch up on. I ended up buying the first trade paperback volume because I personally collect the comics in that format. I don't like having the single issues. I just feel it's easier to collect and it's sturdier.
Yeah, I'm the same way. It's nice to have that big old book to just waste hours reading.
Yeah, because for those of you that don't know, trade paperbacks pretty much collect 3 or 4 issues of the single issues of the comic, put them in a nice, firmer paperback cover. Sometimes there's deluxe editions that are hardcover. It's just a nicer format. I prefer to collect it that way, have it, displayed nicely on my shelf. And I'd rather just get a nice chunk of it, read the hell out of it, and then wait till the next one comes out. But that being said, the comic is an interesting topic. It's one that I personally haven't seen in the format yet. It deals with exorcism and possession. It starts, the starring character is a gentleman named Kyle Barnes. He is what you would consider, I guess, a shut-in. I mean, the guy doesn't go out at all. He just stays home, depressed as hell. House is just a complete mess, hasn't cleaned in I don't know how long. I believe they actually give indication that he doesn't even go out at all. Like, literally, he hasn't been to town, for months or weeks. So something along that line. So I'll give you an idea of what kind of character we're dealing with. They do hint right off the bat that he does have some kind of a bad past as far as his mother, and he did have a wife and a daughter, but for whatever reason, at the beginning of the comic, you don't see them there.
Right.
They're gone. They're out of his life for whatever the reason is. That they don't tell you right off the bat. It takes a couple issues to get into that.
Right.
The book also has another character, Reverend Anderson, local reverend of the town's church. He actually leads off the comic itself, where he is called by a mother of a young daughter and a young child, who the boy is actually kind of acting out and just acting strange as hell and being very violent, and the mother doesn't really know what else to do, so she has no one else to turn to. She ends up calling the reverend. He ends up stopping by, kind of just talking to the boy, and right off the bat, the kid is violent, kicks the mom, breaks her nose. He already notices like some weird tendencies, the way he's talking, the way he's cursing, and it's just out of the ordinary. He already feels like, hey, there's something here. I think I need to start doing the exorcism process on this child right away. So he begins doing his thing. Then we cut actually to the main character, Kyle Barnes. He's just wallowing in his depressed house, where he gets a knock on the door, and it's actually his adoptive sister, Megan. And it looks like she's the type of character that comes by every so often to kind of give him
a pat on the back.
A pat on the back, or try to just cheer him up and drop off actual supplies like food and things that he needs, because like as I mentioned, this dude does not go out anywhere.
Right. So your typical. It's a typical broken man, dark past, check. Doesn't want to deal with anybody, check. So I mean, that's very cliche. It sounds like already.
No,
right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
In that sense, but I mean, what happens, in which I'll touch little tidbits here and there. Again, just a disclaimer. I'm going to be talking about some very early things in the first couple issues. I'm not going to give too much away, but I feel like it's necessary to just set up the story, and at least to me, that's what would sell me on it.
So a light spoiler alarm for all those who are interested. There you go. You've been warned.
I guess a light spoiler, but to be honest with you, this is stuff you find out right in the beginning, so it wouldn't really be much of a shock. And just based on the regular description, you'd probably get some of that info anyways. But so Megan comes over in the first issue, and she's kind of like trying to get him to snap out of this, and she tries to convince him to go with her to town and get some supplies or buy some stuff. He reluctantly agrees. They make it to town. They do their errands and their shopping, and as they're putting everything in the trunk, putting all the groceries and all the packages away, the Reverend Anderson that I mentioned earlier, he spots Kyle, and he says, hey Kyle, wow man, it's been years. I haven't seen you in I don't even know how long, and you've grown. He just kind of it looks like he knew him or he knows him. Kind of gives that vibe off, and Kyle's kind of like, oh well, thank you. Yeah, I haven't seen you in a while. He just seems a little bit kind of like off-put. He doesn't really want to deal with this guy, and the Reverend immediately gets that. So the Reverend kind of backs away, or he's like, okay, well, I guess I'll let you guys do your thing. But as he's backing away, he kind of turns back to Kyle and tells him, hey Kyle, to be honest with you, can I talk to you for a second? Kyle's like, okay, I'll hear you out. And Reverend kind of tells him, hey, I'm dealing with a situation now at the old farmhouse. Something very similar to what you went through in the past, and I really think that you could be of help here. So if you don't mind, I'd really appreciate it. This is the address. He gives Kyle the address, and Kyle kind of just puts that off, thinking like, no, I'm not gonna do crap, but whatever.
Can I hop in here real quick and say, oh excuse me, God, my throat. He's the one that the comic opened with that was getting all exercise done. Yes, did I nail it? Is that it? Is that right?
No.
Oh wow. Well,
no,
shit.
the events of the boy is actually something going on currently at the moment.
Okay.
That the Reverend, and that's when he spotted Kyle, and he mentions like, hey, this is a situation very similar to what you went through in the past. I think that you may be of help to me in this situation. If you don't mind, pass by and help me out. Okay. So it kind of sets it up like, okay, well, what's going on with Kyle's past? Like, why would he be needed, or why would it be something similar? Why would a reverend that's doing an exorcism need this broken down man? What would he need him for? So that kind of just sets that up. Then after that weird meeting, Megan actually kind of lied to him, and instead of taking him back home, she's taking him to have dinner with her family, which is her husband and his niece. And they go, and Kyle was already really pissed off because of the fact that she lied to him. He did not want to do that at all. They get there. He's kind of awkwardly just sitting there with his niece, just talking on the couch, while the mom is cooking. Megan's cooking dinner or whatever, setting everything up. Her husband comes home. He's a police officer. He actually sees Kyle, and he gets really, really upset. He goes into the kitchen. You can hear, obviously Kyle can hear everything that's happening, and you can hear the husband, or you can read it. Obviously, it's a comic, but you can see the husband is talking. You can see the husband is telling the husband is telling Megan, like, "Hey, what the hell are you doing here? Why the fuck is this guy in our house? I thought we talked about this. I do not want him near us." Kyle hears all this, whatever. They kind of just let that go. The evening continues. They finally drop him off home. He's having kind of a somber moment, just reminiscing about things, and he ends up grabbing his cell phone and calling his wife, and she actually picks up, saying hello, and he just stays there, quiet on the other end and doesn't say a word. Just ends up hanging up, and he ends up crying, smashing his phone. After that kind of actually got him thinking. He started remembering a couple things about his mom, and the images that they give you of the mom is very, like, I guess you would say mean, or just treating him really, really badly in these flashbacks. Still not really much. It looks like Kyle's been beaten when he was little by the mom.
Okay.
So the next day he actually, I guess, gets the courage and shows up to the house of the boy in the farmhouse that's being exercised by the Reverend. Reverend's actually pretty surprised, but very thankful that he showed up. He kind of gives him an idea of what's going on. Like, hey, this is a kid who's exhibiting some kind of paranormal stuff going on. So, hey, let's go up and talk to him. You're willing to do that? He said, yeah, sure. So as soon as they walk into the room with this kid, the kid's just sitting on the bed, and might I just interject in here, Paul, as I said, his artwork is phenomenal. His use of imagery is just very, very strong. Like, you could tell right off the bat when the little boy is just looking back at him, it just something looks off. It looks pretty demonic. Just that demonic aspect to him. As soon as he comes in, the boy makes a comment to the Reverend, and then he sees Kyle, and he says, "Oh, I know you." And Kyle's like, "You know me?"
What?
What do you mean you know me? It's like, "Oh, we never forget the Outcast."
What?
And then Kyle's kind of throwing that back, like, "How the hell do you know me? What are you talking about?" And then the demon starts mentioning things about, like, I believe he throws the name of the mom out there, and that's when things kind of like really intrigue Kyle enough to just definitely stay and try to get things resolved.
Huh.
Or at least go through with this exorcism. So they start performing stuff. The Reverend tells them, hey, just hang back, let me do this. Things get out of control. The kid just goes kind of crazy. They start fighting.
And then they shoot him down.
Well, no. No, hey, not this time. But the kid gets crazy. Kyle has to use physical force. For whatever reason, Kyle gets hurt to the point where he's bleeding. And while they're trying to hold this possessed child down, some of the blood falls on the child, and the blood acts as like a damaging liquid, something that just hurts this demon inside of the boy.
Shit, his blood is holy water?
I don't know. That's the thing. So for whatever reason, it looks like the blood actually can damage or hurt the boy, and they end up actually resolving the situation. The boy comes back to normal. I mean, the boy took a beating because Cal actually beat the crap out of him. Like, he actually punched him and hurt him, to stop him and hold him down. And then the blood, I guess, finished the job. They were able to exorcise him. Megan's husband, if you remember, the police officer comes by because he gets the call. Mm-hmm. He really wants to arrest the hell out of Kyle because he just doesn't like him right off the bat. And
for doing what?
That's what you don't really know yet, though. That's where the whole detail. It all goes back to what happened with his wife and daughter. Like something bad happened there that caused that. Basically, Kyle's kind of been put in the light of being a child abuser or a child beater and also a wife beater.
But unbeknownst to everybody, he's been beating the fuck out of demons.
Exactly. So you kind of get that impression
Gotcha.
of, whoa, something must have happened there
Gotcha.
with that. So the mother of this boy who was possessed doesn't press any charges. Lets him go because, of course, she's happy to have her son back. Even though the police officer's like, damn, this guy beat the crap out of this kid. Why are we not taking him in? But the mom's not pressing any charges. They let it go. What can they do? So that's pretty much the setup of the first few issues, or the first actually issue and a half, if I'm mistaken, of the book. You do find out right off the bat that the mother has been put into a coma, or just as a vegetable. She's like living in some kind of a home at this point, just non-responsive whatsoever. And it all ends up being a deal or an ordeal that happened before, which goes back to what the Reverend was talking about when I mentioned earlier. Kyle's mom was actually possessed, which Kyle didn't know. He's never really understood this, but he kind of feels like all this kind of possession and demonic stuff seems to be following him for whatever reason. Hurting his loved ones, hurting him. He starts to piece this after this experience with the boy. And that incident that happened was that the mom was, for many, many years or months was beating on him. She went from being the nicest woman on earth to just being a demon, like to him, just beating him up and just treating him like garbage. Until one day, beaten and bloody boy just decides saying like, hey, enough's enough. I'm not taking this crap anymore. And he fights back. And he ends up saving his mom in that aspect, but also gets the label of having hurt his mother, and the mother gets put into hospital and all that stuff. So that's why he gets adopted by the other family, and that's where the setup is. I'm not really creeped out or scared by much horror stuff. I'm a huge horror fan, for those of you who know me, but I don't really get scared, but I'm more interested and intrigued by the story premises and what the creator tries to do or bring about with this. And man, I am really enjoying the first trade paperback volume, which I believe is the first three or four. Actually, no, the first 6 issues, if I'm not mistaken. Actually, and it's just right off the bat, it grabbed my attention, man. The story about exorcism, possession. What does Kyle have? What is the power in his blood? Why is he being constantly, hunted down or being followed by these kind of events, or these things are affecting or harming his loved ones? The Reverend's kind of like at a loss for this, because he's grateful, but he still doesn't understand what kind of power. But he's telling Kyle like, hey, you've been given some kind of power for whatever reason. I think you should use it. So that's what Kyle sets off to do. Not really to save the world, but more to just find out what's hell's going on
with him, right?
What's going on? Why is he involved in this? Why did that demon or whatever it was know who he was, or knew about his past, or what the hell's an outcast? Why did he call him an outcast?
Right.
Like, what does that have to do with everything? And of course, Robert Kirkman, those of you familiar with his writing from Walking Dead, again, phenomenal, fantastic character builder. Right off the bat, you grow attached to Kyle, even though he's a broken down man. But as you find out more and more about him, you're more intrigued, and you also feel bad for the guy, especially when you find out some of the things that happened with actually his wife and child. Dialogue is always top notch. It's very engrossing. It keeps you, it's always a page turner. And then, as I mentioned earlier, the artwork is just very haunting, very creepy. It's just so well done, man. It just sets you in this creepy vibe, this creepy mood. That if you're remotely a fan of horror, like, this is a book you got to check out, man.
That's cool, man.
It's very good. I believe volume 2 of the trade paperback is out. I'm going to be ordering that very soon. And I'm looking forward to more Outcasts, man. It's great. I mean, at first I really didn't see I still don't, but the name kind of like Outcast. What the hell? It's not. This possession isn't what you would think about that when you hear that name, but that's what the story is about. And so far it's been pretty good, man. And somebody like Robert Kirkman, who has a long history in comics, not just from Walking Dead, he's done a bunch of other stuff.
Right.
But it's just good, man. It's just I highly recommend it.
How many issues does come out a month? There's only been 14 issues so far, and the thing started in June of last year, so they're doing
well, trade paperbacks end up coming. Well, trade paperbacks come out of. Normally they house, or I'm not housing. They normally hold maybe anywhere between 3 to 5, or maybe even 6 issues of the regular comics, of the monthly comics.
Right.
So they normally release the trade paperback version of it once they have enough issues to create it. But of course, it's not like after six issues, like, hey, let's create it immediately. It probably takes a month and a half, or 2 months after that to then release the next one.
Gotcha.
Sometimes it's a little bit quicker, sometimes a little bit slower, but generally around. I mean, the issues are monthly. It's a monthly ongoing series, so if you like buying the issues, if you'd rather buy them single issues, you can get that monthly. You can go to your local comic book store and pick up all 14 that are out right now. Me, personally, for the reasons I mentioned earlier, I prefer to collect them in the trade paperback version. And for those, I got to wait a little bit. I mean, Volume 2 is out, so I know for a fact I got another 6 issues, right, that I can, that I have access to immediately. There's 14, so that's an extra 2, so that means I'd have to wait another probably 4 to 5 months to get the next trade paperback volume. But for me, since I'm always reading a lot of stuff, I really don't mind the wait.
Right.
And I just honestly prefer just having the collected editions better.
In bulk, yeah. I'm the same
But
way.
if you do your digital comics, you actually buy them monthly, the actual physical copy, you can jump on this monthly if you like. If
That's
not,
cool.
you can wait. Right now there's two right now there's two trade paperbacks, which is about 12 issues that you have access to right now. But beyond that, whatever format you decide, I highly recommend it, man. I mean, I don't know. I know you're not much of a horror guy, but
Oh, I read Walking Dead. I have not super caught up. I've read the paperback, the trade paperbacks as well. I got to a certain point and then I stopped. But all these other things got in the way, and Walking Dead got super famous on the TV. So I was like, I'm gonna put it down. I'll get back to it eventually. But no, I really do
I'm
enjoy his
actually
writing.
catching up myself. Sorry, go ahead. What were you saying?
No, I really do enjoy his writing. Robert Kirkman can write like a maniac, and he really sets the mood just right. And I can stand the comic as opposed to a freaking jump scare setup of a TV show or a movie. So I got no problem with the comics.
And to me, one of the reasons why I consider Kirkman to be one of the better writers out there is the dude has no qualms or no worries about killing off
Oh yeah,
your favorite character. Like you'll be reading his books and suddenly, a couple pages later, hey, your favorite character has just been destroyed.
Well, yeah. Remember the thing he said with The Walking Dead is that he tells every one of his readers, do not get comfortable with any of your characters because the only one who's surviving this is Rick. He said that from the get-go. So the only person you can expect to not die is Rick.
I wouldn't mind if Rick were to die and then Carl would take over
Carl!
the series because Carl.
Sorry, every time it gets me.
Yeah, I was actually thinking of dressing up for Halloween as Rick, a sheriff outfit, and then just holding a piece of coral, like.
Oh, you should have. That would have been amazing.
Maybe next year. But yeah, man. That being said, like, highly recommended, dude.
Yep.
I don't know if you'd want to jump on it. It's early on, but
I might give it a shot. Yeah.
I'd recommend it.
I mean, you intrigued me. I'm not gonna lie. At first, I was like, man. Then you kept talking about it. I was like, huh. All right, cool. So, good job. Would it be a spokesman for the comic? I'll let Robert...
I just got paid by Image Comics.
I do have one question though about the Outcast comic. When?
Oh, God.
When does Andre 3000 and Big Boy come into play?
I knew you piece of garbage. I didn't want to spoil it, but the first 30 pages is just a comic rendition of their Hey Ya song. So it's actually pretty freaking cool.
Zinger!
Hey,
Hey,
I didn't want to butcher that more than we probably already know. I apologize, Robert Kirkman and fans of Outcasts and horror and everything in general.
Yeah, well,
that was pretty
there
horrible.
you go. But no, that's really cool. I might actually check it out myself. No, absolutely no lie. I might jump on my tablet and download the first issue or two just to kind of get an idea, and then possibly start doing the actual physical comic form or getting the paperbacks, whichever way, whatever pulls me in.
One of the things about Outcast, the way they handle horror, is that they don't really deal with the jump scares, or they don't really, it's not like you're going to be turning a page and seeing some gory thing happening. It's more of like building up the.
Yeah, I thought you were gonna talk about some like crazy new revolutionary thing in comics where you actually have pop-ups for the
That'd be
jump
pretty
scares. Turn the page and
No,
oh my god!
Just that this builds more tension. It tries to give you, I guess you can consider real scares in comparison to maybe just like shock value. Because whereas Walking Dead, you turn the page and hey, your favorite character is being munched on immediately. This one kind of just builds the horror element, the creepiness, like the demonic presence, all of that just gets built up, within the panels, and eventually things happen. But it's different in the aspect that it's not shock. Whereas things just happen immediately just to kind of get you off guard, like, whoa, okay, well, damn, whoa, Right. This is more like building that creepiness factor.
Right.
Just pretty cool. And those of you that are fans of television, you'll be happy to know that Outcast has already been picked up to become a series eventually. I believe there are some maybe first, quick trailers on that online somewhere that you can look up. But I mean, I'm excited, man. If it's going to be anything like Walking Dead has been as far as an adaptation, I'm all for it.
And as long as the right people get a hold of it, just like they did with Walking Dead, I'm sure.
Yep.
Sure. But yeah, we're gonna go from one piece of animation and illustration and art to another piece of animation, illustration, and art. But this one
we're gonna talk about One Piece.
Whoa! No, I'm not talking about that piece of garbage, fucking piece of anime. All of you can come at me, bro. I don't give a fuck.
Don't come at him, bro. He doesn't mean it.
Oh yeah,
it's okay.
I do. Luffy can go eat all of the dicks. But we're gonna head on Far East and talk about Let's talk about another anime that came out earlier this year in the summer. It's called Himouto Umaru-Chan, and this was a really nice random surprise. It actually was recommended to me by my wife's friend. Ended up just sitting down and watching. Not expecting much, but it was actually very, very nice. It was very fun. It's pretty much a show about a perfect, beautiful 16-year-old girl. You know, she's a high schooler. She's perfect in every way. She's super smart. She gets straight A's. Everybody looks up to her at school and everything. You know, she's got this amazing image of being the perfect student, the perfect person, the perfect girl. Everybody wants to be your friend.
So like the top of the class.
Top of the class, everything.
Model.
Yeah. Oh, can I walk home with you? Oh my God, whatever. So it starts off being kind of like a slice of life type of show, and eventually you see her walking home with one of her friends. She gets in, and as soon as she walks inside, she literally transforms to this little chibi thing. It's so weird. Pretty much all her perfection, all her inhibitions of being a perfect girl, thrown out the window. She comes inside, immediately changes out of her school uniform into some long t-shirt, freaking yoga pants, and she puts on this weird little hoodie, a hamster hoodie on, and she changes into this slacking, non-caring little freaking nerd, and just all she does is freaking play games all day. She's on message boards and on the internet all day. She's if she's not on her home console, she's on her Vita or PSP. If she's not on that, she's watching anime and talking about it on the message boards. And she does nothing at home, and she's living along with her older brother who's a salaryman, and she's constantly begging him, Oni-chan, brother, can you get me some cola, brother? Can you get me some potato chips, brother? Can you go out and get me this? Completely responsibilities are non-existent. She has no perception of priorities. She's got no perception of being selfless. She's completely selfish, and the whole show. There's really no continuation with the show, so it's not like your typical anime that has this story that goes all the way on through. The only bits of continuation is the friends that she meets and makes throughout the show. They eventually start coming back as new friends, and they kind of touch on who they are here and there, but it's not like a continuing story. In fact,
quick question.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, do they ever explain why she has this, somewhat of a double life, or why does she act away at school, whereas at home she just is herself? I guess what you would consider being herself.
No, she just doesn't want people to know that that's who she really is. She's actually embarrassed by her double life, but she just keeps up with it because everybody looks up to her out there, and she knows that with society, people would look down on her immediately if they knew that she was some otaku nerd. When she goes out to arcades, and when she goes out to comic shops, when she goes out to buy video games, she has on she goes out, so she's not her chibi form. She's actually her normal, girl looking person.
So whenever she leaves the house, she looks normal.
Normal, yeah,
like quote unquote. Not that there's anything unnormal about being an otaku outside
right,
your house.
Right, exactly. Yeah, we'll touch on that point. Yeah, we'll touch on that point. I agree with you. There's any boy or girl, woman, man. You be a nerd. You be a nerd. You be you. You do you, guys.
Yeah, definitely like what you like, man.
Yeah. So at that point, that's where I find it silly. And she kind of learns. She kind of learns a little later on about that. Though they don't
spoiler.
Really.
Spoiler.
Not really. Because that's something that you hope happens, and I'm not gonna tell you the ending to the whole thing. I'm not gonna tell you the outcome. That's something that she realizes over time.
So what kind of humor would I expect to be watching here? Just quick slapstick stuff?
Quick slapstick. Not like, Three Stooges slapstick, but for anime standards, very slapstick, very silly, very quick draw of the humor. Some of the humor definitely draws from Japanese culture, so if you're already not familiar with Japanese culture or just not into the anime community, if you will, to understand some of these jokes, you may not get it. But it's just funny. If you're into anime or if you're into anything Japanese culture, you do know that otakus are kind of, even though that's where they make a majority of their money in the entertainment industry over there in Japan, otakus are kind of frowned upon a little bit. When you're out in public, it's all about perception. So make sure you're polite, you're formal. So that's why when she's home and nobody's eyes are on her, she's herself. But when she's out, hey, I gotta be proper. I gotta look good. So if I'm gonna go to an arcade, I gotta have a hat on with a mask. She like literally wears a mask, kind of like Robin, that just like sticks on your eyes. She wears a mask when she goes out to the arcades. The people in the arcades know her. She constantly destroys their UFO catcher machines and just pretty much takes everything because she's such a master at it. Couple characters to note, besides obviously Umaru. You got her brother who's Taihei.
How was the interaction between them? He accepts her as she is, or is he like trying to get her to snap out of it type of thing?
A little bit of both. She's got that brotherly love, so he accepts her who she is, but he also knows that someday she's gonna have to snap out of it. So as a brother, he tries to every now and again go, hey, Umaru, you want to kind of snap out of it. You want to try and help me out with this. You want to try and help me out with that. You might want to do this yourself. But of course, one of the slapsticks is that she always finds a way to talk herself out of it by doing the puppy eyes type of thing, or one of the big things she likes to do is being that really selfish person that she is as a sibling. She'll throw tantrums, like she'll throw open tantrums to guilt him into getting her what she wants. Brother, the new game's out. I want it. Like, no, I can't get you. I already got you another game last week. It's not fair. And she'll like roll around in bed on the floor, crying, wailing. She'll do it out in public if she's out like at a restaurant. Like, oh, I want this really big, ice cream sundae. Like, I really don't have the money for that. Oh my god! And she'll transform in the middle of the restaurant and start wailing and flailing on him. And you're gonna have to do it because people think that you're mistreating this lovely little girl. How could you? And he just, buckles and does her bidding, unfortunately. So those aspects of the show got me really angry. Really, really angry because I'm a nerd through and through. And, yeah, I would love to have everything I want. But, something that I was personally raised is to, make sure you get your priorities straight and make sure you have your responsibilities straightened out. So things like that actually got me seething inside when I saw it happen. It's like, I want to slap this little brat so hard.
Yeah, life's not that easy.
No, man.
You can still do your thing, but just make sure you're taking care of the business first.
And I wanted to shake the brother, too. It was like, stop it! Stop losing.
Stop enabling her.
Exactly. So, it's depending on, I guess, how you live your life. You may click with it, or you may just want to slap the living shit out of her. But she does make friends.
Or you may not care either way and just laugh at the funniness.
Oh, yeah, whichever. But she does have the supporting cast, if you will. Her brother, one of her best friends that she makes is her name is Nana, or Ebina, actually I should say. Is her surname. She's like from the countryside of Japan. She moves over to the city, so she doesn't really know anybody. Somehow she got to cling on to Umaru, who is a perfect person, perfect student. Or Ebina is not. She's a klutz. She can't do anything right. Umaru is perfect at sports. She can swim real well. She can do tennis. Ebina drowns, can't hit the ball, nothing like that. Then there's Umaru's rival. Every one of these shows has to have a rival, which is amazing. She's a German. I guess I'm trying to remember exactly what it was. She's the child of a German and Japanese couple. So her name is awesome. Sylphenford Tachibana.
Nice.
It's really cool. She's got a cool designs. Blue hair. Her pupils are like this weird little flower type of shape. And she's constantly 24/7 has a little the little cat drawing for a mouth. So like the little 3 type of butt face type of thing. So she constantly has that for a mouth. She's every time she sees Umaru, it's never hey, how you doing? Let's be friends. It's more like, Umaru, I know you're awesome. I'm gonna challenge you to everything, and everything is a challenge. Hey, first one home to walk from school is a winner. Hey, first one to hit the bus is a winner. Hey, first one to stop it. Just be normal. Just enjoy yourself. Oh, let's go to the beach. Okay, first one to hit the waves first. Stop it. So that's the type of rival that she has. And then there's another character who's super, super timid, and she's very shy, but people mistake that for her being like dark and evil on the inside. Her name is Kirie, and she's she kind of she wants to cling to Umaru. She ends up stalking her home one day, but when she opens the door, it's Umaru who's transformed into chibi form, and apparently nobody can recognize her when she's in chibi form. So she mistakes her for somebody else, and Umaru uses that point to actually have a friend at home, saying that I'm actually Umaru's little sister. So, and other stuff happens from there. So it's a really misplaced anime. Like I said, there's really no continuation. There's about like 2 to 3 little shorts per episode. Some of them, sometimes they're longer, sometimes you only have 2. If I remember right, I think there was one where there was like 1 full episode on one 30-minute show. But it's really fun. If you're a geek, if you're a nerd, you consider yourself an otaku, definitely watch it. So yeah, one thing I do love about the show is that it just shows that, you know, nerds can be anybody, including girls. You know, I married one of them. She embraces what she is. She doesn't apologize for it at all to anybody, and she enjoys that shit. You know, I'm just sick and tired of people out there constantly saying, oh, you know, there's no you can't find anybody who plays Fallout 24/7. Like, my wife does, and I know like 4 other friends who are chicks who like spend all their time on gaming and movies and nerd culture and all that. You know, sometimes they think that they have to hide themselves, and this anime proves that fuck it, just be you, man. Quit trying to hide that shit.
Well, that goes good with everybody though, not just
no,
not just girls. Like, yeah, just if you're like, embrace what you like and don't let anybody tell you otherwise.
No, I agree. I just think that girls get a bad rap out of the whole thing. You know, there's people who are like, I can't find any of them. Like, they're out there. Just don't go searching for it. You'll land on one. And then there's people who are just like, oh, all this stuff. None of this stuff's for girls. Nah, fuck it, man. Everybody can be a nerd and do whatever they're into, man. I play shit like oh my god, I forgot the name of it. The music game that you just bought on the DS.
Oh, Hatsune Miku.
Yeah. I get into shit like Hatsune Miku, and I watch the anime like this. You know, the slice of life stuff that a lot of people consider like, oh my gosh, girly. Who the fuck cares? If it's fun, you enjoy it, go for it. So yeah, that's what I got out of it. Very enjoyable.
Cool.
Very fun. It's like
cool. It sounds interesting. It reminds me of some of those other comedies are just like, I don't even know what I'm going to say with that. I was thinking of I had a show in my mind, but I can't think of it.
Like Squid Girl?
I guess.
No, I mean, you know, it's a slapstick little comedy, you know. It's short episodes, like typically 2 little episodes per 30-minute block. Yeah, that's the first thing I'd put into. I didn't like Squid Girl. I thought it was just obnoxious. Granted, so is Umaru, but I could connect with it based on the subject matter, you know?
Yeah, no, well, I don't know. Never mind. I have no idea where I was going with that.
Right. But anyway, so yeah, it's 12 episodes long, so it's, you know, it's not a long series, so I definitely suggest you sit down with Crunchyroll or Hulu and get started on that sucker. And to give it something that I just found out, ending up with this, it's I guess the title stands for My Two-Faced Little Sister, and yeah, that's that's on point. So there you go.
That would make sense.
There you go. But yeah, it's really fun. I really recommend it.
Cool. Well, Lewis definitely recommends this. Was it Himouto-Chan?
Himouto Umaru-Chan.
That one. I just don't want to butcher it.
I'm pretty sure I did too. So there you go.
But that sounds cool, man. I don't know when I'd get around to it, but I'll put it on my to watch list. I remember I did the same thing for a show that Abdul recommended to me, which was Gekkan Shoujo Nozaki-kun.
Nozaki-kun
translates to something Nozaki-kun.
Yeah, good job. I'm sorry, that was hilarious. I think it's.
Oh yeah, Monthly Girls Nozaki.
Yeah, I was about to say. I think I have it right here. You're a Japanese master. You know you're.
Hi.
Hi.
That's cool. I'll put it on my list. I'll get to it eventually. Got some other stuff working out at the moment, but if it's good, I'm down to check it out.
Yeah, I think you dig it. I know you like your Life of Slice stuff like that too. So anybody else out there who does
Life of Slice?
Life of Slice, yes.
Life of Slice,
and also Slices of Life. So yeah, good save, and yeah, go watch it. It's really good. But now we gotta turn to some stuff that's not so cutesy, and that's the world of Star Wars Battlefront to be exact. We'll talk about the movie when that comes out. But yeah, the game came out earlier this month, and no pun intended, it's been a blast.
Oh!
It's been a damn good blast. The game's gorgeous, guys. If you have not, what the whoa? Oh,
What?
R2.
What was that?
R2's here. Ladies and gentlemen, we have our guest today, a special guest R2D2. How you doing, R2? I have no idea what he said.
Oh, I agree. Lewis is a crap face.
You speak
but
Droidian?
I'll talk to you, R2. Huh?
You speak Droidian? What the fuck?
I took 2 years of that in high school.
Oh shit! Fuck, I said the same thing. I didn't even see that shit. What?
Okay, we'll get back to the show. He just was a quick pop in. He really can't stay, saving the whole galaxy and all that kind of crap.
Bye, R2.
Bye, R2. Well, thanks R2 for stopping by, but let's move on with talking about the actual game.
Right. Like I said, the game's gorgeous. The game is gorgeous. If you haven't seen it, go to a friend's house, go rent it, and just pop it in. Even if you're not a Star Wars fan, play that thing and just admire what DICE created with their engine. Holy crap!
Yeah, it's visually, it's something you got to experience. What to me makes the visual stand out even more is just the fact that this is an online shooter, man. So it runs smooth on PS4 at least.
Mm-hmm.
I believe almost 60 frames per second.
60 frames non-stop, I think.
When you're online and that's playing with up to 40 people in a match, man, that's impressive as hell.
Yeah, 40 people and like huge AT-ATs and TIE fighters
vehicles,
and
everything
X-Wings.
going on. Absolutely, and it's just breathtaking, man. The different planets are really actually stars. Stars are part of the game that actually draws you in, man. Like Endor, where the Ewoks are, man.
Yeah,
it's a forest, and the foliage, everything is
Endor is
moving as you're
gorgeous.
running around, and the water, and it's just wow. It's very breathtaking. I mean, we even said that when we talked about the beta.
Yep.
But I think it maybe got a little bit more polished. Now the full release is out.
Well,
It's just
the beta only gave us 2 maps, right? The I always forget the name of it, but whatever the little desert one was.
I think it was Planet Solistan,
Okay.
and then it was Hoth.
And
With
the
the Walker Assault.
Hoth, yeah.
So yeah, I guess yeah. So we have seen a bit more stuff. We have seen Tatooine now. We have seen Endor, which I think visually is my favorite. That jungle is just wow.
It's gorgeous.
I
I really do think Endor takes the cake.
Yeah, that's definitely without a doubt my favorite map visually. All of them look pretty damn good and very alike to their movie or universe counterparts. To be honest with you.
Yep, 100%. They nailed every single nook and cranny, every little corner. It makes you feel like you're in the movie space of Star Wars. I don't think they missed a single inch.
Yeah, and this game is pretty much an online multiplayer. I mean, there is single player aspects, which we'll talk about in a second. But the meat and bones, or what you're really going to be doing, at least what we've been doing, is playing online against other people.
Multiplayer.
And the game definitely has quite a few modes. Some of them a lot stronger than others. Not gonna lie, but you'll find everything from what is your regular deathmatch, which I believe is called Blast in this game. You got your drop zone, which is basically the one of the. Well, that's actually my text message though.
R2. Put your phone away, R2.
R2. God damn it. He just came back to say, "Hey, I love you guys." So, yeah, he loves you guys.
Blast's deathmatch. Drop zone. You capture stuff, right?
It's a team. It's 8 on 8. What'll happen is that a pod falls on a random location on the map, and what your job is to do, or your team's job is to do, is to rush to that pod and capture it. Mm-hmm. So it's something similar to kind of capturing control points.
Yep.
So you need to have your presence there. You need to activate it with the square button, at least on PS4. That'll give that possession of the pod to you, and you just have to wait and defend the pod while the timer fills up completely. The only difference between this and maybe like what is the one in Battlefield, the main mode where you're controlling points back and forth, or like at all times?
Conquest. What
is it?
Conquest.
There we go. The only difference between that is that once the pod is captured completely, a point gets awarded to that team that captured it. Mm-hmm. First to 5 wins, or whoever has the most before the timer ends wins.
I would say it's more in line with Halo's King of the Hill, but it's a team-based King of the Hill where you all have to go to one place.
Yeah, I guess I would agree. It is more of like capturing a specific location. The only difference is that you could just activate and deactivate the pod whenever you want.
Yep.
So I mean, like enemy can sneak in and just deactivate it, even though if you're patrolling the area, you're defending it. If you didn't see them and they activated, hey, all your progress is suddenly lost, even though you may have guys around it. So it's not more of like a presence in the area. It's actually who has the actual control of the pod
for a certain amount of time.
times.
Right, exactly.
Because I mean, I've had it multiple times happen where our bar was about to fill up completely, and we're gonna nail that pod, and then suddenly the enemy takes it away, and wow, now we got to take it back from them.
Yep.
And then restart that whole capturing process again.
Yep.
So sometimes you'll have this huge tug of war on a specific pod, which ends up being a lot of fun. Like, man, we got it.
Yeah, it's back and forth and back and forth.
Took it back,
man, they took me down. Let me try and sneak back up to it and take them down and take it back. And yeah, no, it gets hectic. It really does.
That's one of my favorite modes so far.
Right. The other one I would say that's more like Battlefield's Conquest is Supremacy mode, which has the different control points, typically up to 5. You have your home base, and you have 3 more scattered around the middle of the map, and then you have the 5th one, which is the opponent's base. As you take the control points, the further in you get to your opponent's base, then eventually you have to take over the opponent's base. As soon as you do that, then the team wins. However, if time runs out before that even happens, the team with the most the team with the most capture points, I guess if you will, wins the round. So that one's most like Battlefield Conquest.
Couple differences though in that, and this one there's not like an actual flag or anything kind of designating where you need to be standing. It's just more of like an area.
Yeah.
There's a marker on your map. You just got to be in that vicinity, and the more people you have, the quicker it captures, which is kind of similar to Battlefield in that aspect. The other difference I would say would be, so you're making your progress to the map. You can't go ahead and skip past all of the other control points and capture one closer to the enemy's base. You actually have to go in order to get to their base. So that that makes it a little bit more challenging because you got to start off at your base. You'll obviously go and capture the next one in front of you, and then you got to go to the next one until you meet up with the enemy, and whoever overtakes that middle one ends up kind of getting the upper hand at the moment. Yep. So it's not like you can just skip past the third control point, right, and then go to the enemy's 4th one, even though the 3rd one is controlled by them, and take over theirs, because it doesn't work that way.
Yeah, you have to actually go in order of what's out there.
You have to go in order. If you lose a control point, then you have to actually regain it or fall back and defend the one before the one they just took away from you.
Right. The only main thing I don't like about Supremacy is that some of them choke points, I don't think they're evenly spread out on the maps. I think some choke points are they lean more towards another side. I mean, I haven't really gotten into the nitty gritty and seen the entire layout of the map, but so far, as far as me playing Supremacy, it's always one team's got the amazing upper hand, and the other team's getting their asses beat to the point that it gets to the final control point, and eventually we're just sitting there spawn killing or getting spawn killed, and it's really, I don't know, it just doesn't seem like, out of all the modes, that one does not seem like the one that's most evened out.
Yeah, that can get kind of annoying, I agree. Out of all the modes, this is the most hectic one, or things going on the screen, because as we mentioned, it's 20 on 20, total of 40.
Yep. And
you got the ATSTs walking around, you got snow speeders or whatever, X-wings, or depending on the planet you're on, the corresponding vehicles on both sides. You also throw in the heroes and the villains as power-ups, strewn throughout the map. So you'll see the icon of a lightsaber. You pick that up and you activate it. Suddenly you're Luke Skywalker. You'll hear a message saying Luke Skywalker has joined the battle.
Yep.
And that player whoever picked it up gets to be Luke Skywalker or a villain, Darth Vader or Boba Fett.
Yeah, and they're practically almost invincible. I mean, it takes a bajillion and 1 hits to take them down. So
yeah, it's a power character. You get much more health. It's stronger weaponry. I mean, you're not meant to be completely invincible, but you have a huge upper hand. People like Darth Vader or Luke I don't think Luke can actually throw his lightsaber. I think Darth Vader's the only one that does that, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong.
I believe so. I haven't seen Luke do it yet.
But yeah, as Darth Vader, you can start, force choking people and tossing your lightsaber. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I still haven't had a chance with the hero yet, so I'm kind of miffed about that, just because of the fact that it's sometimes just hard to see them power-ups or get to them on time. So
yeah, that's one thing I don't like, and also goes for the vehicles. It's not like Battlefield in the sense that you'll see the actual vehicles on the map that you can actually jump into. It's an actual glowing power up that you pick up, and then you have to activate it before the timer runs out, and then hey, suddenly you're appearing in a TIE fighter or a snowspeeder or an X-wing,
or your Luke
for the hero, or you'll turn into the hero, and then suddenly you're controlling them. It just kind of throws you a little bit out of the. I mean, granted, this is a game heavily based on a sci-fi series, but it kind of throws you out of it for a little bit because it makes it seem like more arcadey, more of a power up instead of like, hey, I'm a rebel soldier jumping into an X-wing right now, and I'm gonna fly off the hangar bay and then start doing crap. You suddenly pop into your vehicle and there you go.
Yeah, it just kind of takes you out of it a little bit. I mean, it's I don't want to say like the immersion or anything. Like you said, it's like it's a sci-fi game based off a sci-fi movie, but it's just. I don't know, it just doesn't feel right. And they're also scattered, scattered and strewn about to the point that, just, hey, if you find it, good luck. If not, oh well, you never, you can go a whole night not seeing one of those damn power-ups because you don't spawn in the right spot or everybody else
I was under the impression that
it.
you would pick up, like, the hero and the villain stuff based on your performance, but that's not necessarily true.
Oh, yeah, no, we can be getting our asses kicked, and all of a sudden Vader has appeared. Oh, great, we're going to get our asses kicked even more.
I mean, I'm not the worst player, but I know I'm not at the top too often, and I know I've been a hero or a villain here and there. I enjoy it, but I just don't understand how it works per se. If it's just a random power up, that's kind of cool, but kind of not.
Yeah.
You didn't really earn it. Back to the immersion thing, I think that does throw you out of the whole immersiveness of the experience. It's not like Battlefield where, hey, you're a soldier. Hey, there's an open helicopter. Let me go run and jump into it and fly off and just do the actual takeoff. This is you pick up the power up, activate it, and you're already in midair.
Oh, they actually changed that a bit in Battlefield 4. I know you didn't get a chance to jump into Battlefield 4. Yeah, with like the jets and airplanes and stuff. Yeah, it was more of a how you had the mini map. You could choose where to spawn. You had to actually choose one of the airplanes, and it'll spawn the plane with you in it.
Oh, okay.
You never actually saw it out there. Now the jeeps and the tanks and all that stuff was still physically out there. But the air vehicles is something you have to spawn into, which I was not a fan of when I figured that out. I was like, what? This is bogus.
Yeah, well, that does take you out of the immersiveness.
It does. I think so, too. I mean, at the same time, I get it because you have those assholes who just spawn camp and just blow up your planes and helicopters that don't allow you to jump in it. But at that point, you know what can fix that? If nobody is in them, make them invincible to blowing up until somebody actually jumps in. But, hey, that's just me. I'm not a programmer. I'm not a developer.
We have no idea what we're talking about.
Nah.
Just to go over some of the other modes,
it's just an if-and statement. That's all it is.
Pretty much. Just to go over some of the modes, other modes quickly, because there are quite a few. There's cargo, which is more of like a capture the flag. You got droid run.
You have to, I think, capture or protect an important
a series of 3 droids.
Droids.
There's heroes and villains, where it's just literally a team of heroes versus a team of villains. There's hero hunt, where you're a hero or villain hunt, right? Or is it just heroes?
Hero hunt, I believe. One person in the team is a hero.
And you have to avoid or take out the team that's a team of 5 people that are after you.
Right, exactly. If the hero gets taken out, then somebody else in the team spawns as the hero again. If I remember right, I haven't tried. And
if you're into the whole vehicle aspect of it, they do have a mode called Fighter Squad.
It's so good.
Fighter Squadron, which is literally just vehicles, aerial vehicles. So
aerial vehicles, yep.
Yeah, you'll be X-Wing versus TIE Fighter, or A-Wings, Y-Wings, all the wings. Hoth, you'll be... I don't know if there's a Hoth level, actually, now that I think about it.
There should be, I think.
I don't recall one. But yeah, you get the idea of it. It's just purely vehicles. You're flying around, dogfighting, and there are some objectives. You have to stop, like, the opposing enemies' their escape ship or something along those lines? Supply ship?
Yeah, they have, like, supply ships and stuff like that. You gotta,
you have to stop it before it leaves the area.
Them, depending on which side of the team you're on. Yeah, things like that.
It's all points and, taking out those ships before the timer runs out, and you're just dogfighting. And, also, it's not just only it's not only just actual player control vehicles. There's also a bunch of AI ones. You get a lot more points for taking out an actual player as opposed to taking out an AI, but the AI is just thrown about. It just made adds to the whole sense of like, hey, this is a crazy battle going on up in the skies right now.
I'm honestly not a fan of it. Which is cool. I'm honestly not a fan of it. At that point, you should have
cool.
just done 20-on-20 air battles. Screw it.
I personally, I think it's great. I just, for whatever reason, I don't know how. I don't know if it's that I'm really horrible at the vehicles in this game, or I'm not just getting how it works. But I haven't had this issue with other other video games of this nature, as far as like vehicle wise, I just can't do anything in these vehicles. I have no idea why. It just frustrates me to the point where I personally don't enjoy them that much.
Yeah, it's user error.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Oh, I'm sorry. So I was going
put me on the ground, and I'll take you out.
I was looking for a little insult pun. I actually sound like I broke your heart a little bit. I'm sorry. Don't cry. It's all right. We'll take you. We'll grab R2. We'll put him in your X-wing, and then we'll fly around, and we'll teach you. It's gonna be okay. I'm sorry. Don't.
All right.
Oh, you're not gonna come for me? I see how it is. All right, fine, be that way.
Anyways,
jackass.
Gameplay wise, it's a shooter. So yeah, there's different weapons. There's rifles. There's pistols. There's heavy blasters. So there's a style for whatever you like. You'll have your what they call star cards or hands. So you get to select 3 cards of varying abilities or power ups that you can pick and choose and just customize to how your play style is. For example, you can have one of your power-up or star cards be a grenade, thermal detonator, which is pretty much a standard grenade. And you can have another one be a one-time use as like a sniper rifle type of a gun. So, you bust that out, you take your shot, and you got to wait for a cooldown. All these star cards and cards, just in general, as part of your hand, do have a cooldown feature. One thing that we didn't see in the beta was that I just recently unlocked. There are some what they call star cards, actually. Star cards. I think it's called star card though.
There's special cards to give you secondary weapons and stuff.
Well, no, there's a different type of card that I don't think you've unlocked yet. Then I guess.
The one on top. Yeah, no, I just keep forgetting to buy one. Honestly.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that extra card that you get later after I think level 10 is actually a modifier. Well, not a modifier, but I guess it is a modifier. Like you can have one that's focus fire, so you activate it, and then for a limited amount of time, your accuracy improves greatly. I'm using one right now that's called a scan pulse. So what'll happen is when I activate it, it'll send out a wave around me, and it'll tell me where the enemies are, whether or not I can see through walls. Basically, I can see their outline. So that one ends up being pretty useful if you just want to take a quick look at your surroundings and see if there's any enemies or anything by you. And I just unlocked the ability, which I haven't been able to buy yet because of lack of the actual in-game currency, is you can pick a trait now. There's a trait for being, sneaky. Like I forgot what the actual name of it. I think it's a rebel spy or something along those lines. Whereas, hey, when you sprint, you're no longer seen on the radar.
Right. Yeah.
There's one that I unlocked. I think it's you have resistance as far as damage is concerned. To explosions. So yeah, there's those, and that's kind of like mixing things up. So now you got to really think and choose what you want to have. Like, hey, do you want to have, what kind of weapons do you want to have? What kind of power-ups? Do you want a jetpack? Do you want a rocket launcher? One-time use sniper rifle? Do you want, a impact grenade that detonates on impact as opposed to a timer and landing on the ground exploding? There's a bit of customization there that's pretty enjoyable.
Yeah.
And speaking of customization, your characters you can actually customize the appearance. I believe it's a little bit funner on the Rebel side. At least me personally. This is a personal opinion here. Rebels, yeah, you got your varying different faces, different haircuts, different, facial hairstyles, men and women. So each face type will have 3 different options for it. Helmet, without helmet, long hair, short hair, beard, whatever it is. This goes for the male and the female characters. Later on the line, you do unlock actually some of the other aliens. You unlock Celestins, you unlock, I think the last one's a Twi'lek.
That's cool.
There's a bunch of stuff you can get, so it seems pretty interesting. Whereas the Imperial side, for me personally, like, hey, just being the fan of Star Wars as I am, I really don't care for having a stormtrooper without their helmet.
Right. All they did was copy paste what they did on the other side to the.
Yeah, it's just So you'll have you can pick a stormtrooper that has no helmet on and same faces as you get from the Rebel side. Same facial and hair options and everything as well. It's just, I don't care for it. I'd rather have cooler, different, maybe camouflaged stormtroopers, helmets, because to me that's what the Imperial Army is. Not a bunch of people, running around helmetless. And not that,
right.
I don't hate it completely. It's just me, personal personal point. I just don't like it. The only two extra armors is the Scout Trooper and the Shadow Trooper, which those you get right at the end.
Yeah, and I think
that's going to take a bit.
And I think it only gives you a different era Stormtrooper based on whatever map you're on, right? So if you're on a map based on the original trilogy, you get the original trilogy Stormtroopers. If you're on a map that's based on the Clone Wars, you're gonna have like one of the Clone Wars style.
Well, there's there's no Clone War stuff that we've encountered. I believe it's only original trilogy so far.
There's a trooper. Maybe it was that other one.
Well, you'll have like your Snow Trooper in Hoth, like he's wearing the classic Snow Trooper outfit.
Oh, you know what? You're right. That's right. No, yeah, that's all it is. That's not bad.
But beyond that, you can't customize much of that, and if you want a different kind of armor, you got to wait until you unlock those two.
I wish they would let you choose different era troopers as opposed to just sticking you with the no helmet, different face trooper. I mean that's just. I mean it's.
Maybe you will. Maybe when the expansions come out. I'm expecting. There's a map I believe that's being held off until the movie comes out, or closer to the movie, the Jakku map, which. People that aren't into Star Wars are following in that this is actually a war that happens in between Return of the Jedi, which is Episode 6, and then upcoming Episode 7, The Force Awakens. This is one of the turning points or something that majorly happened story-wise in between the two films, which kind of serves as a link between them.
The catalyst.
And that's still to come. That's going to be released in December. And I'm expecting, obviously, or I'm hoping to have maybe some stormtroopers, based on the new Force Awakens style.
And that's the thing, though. I think they're only going to relegate the trooper style based on the map that you're on. If the map is based on new trilogy,
you mean like so like
you're only going to play as I mean, I
want to be a snow trooper in the forest level, for example, or whatever.
Well, I mean, not even that. If you want to keep the rule set of snow level means you have to be a snow trooper, that's fine. But let me be a Clone War snow trooper. Let me be a whatever the hell the new style trooper snow trooper. You get what I'm saying? Koopa Troopas. What?
Koopa Troopas.
But no, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Let me choose a different generational trooper for one map. If we have to be all white or all camouflage or all whatever, fine, so be it. But just let me choose which generation I want to be, as opposed to you're a trooper without a helmet on now. Get it? Because some of them don't have helmets now. Whatever. Fuck it.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I mean, hopefully we'll get more variation with the DLC packs. For those of you that ends up getting the DLC packs, I'm still kind of iffy on it.
Yeah, it's $50
it's probably one of the most expensive DLC packs ever. It's $50, like as you just mentioned.
No, it's not. No, it's not. It's not. But you keep going. I'll
that it's not worth it.
No. I'm saying no. Keep going. I'll tell you. I'll tell you why. Because everybody's been like, "Oh my God, $50! Why?" And I guess I'll go into it now. It's $50. It's the same amount of content you're gonna get that you should be getting based on the pedigree that DICE has done.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. You're gonna get like just as many maps as you have in the full game already, plus 4, new total of 4 either heroes or villains added to that, and as well, all those different maps from the different eras or different planets, things like that. So it's quite a bit of content. In my opinion, I mean, I believe that doubles the map count.
Right, but it's not the most expensive DLC ever, because Battlefield was $50, Call of Duty's always been $50, and to their defense, as much as I don't want to defend Call of Duty, I mean, they do give quite a bit of content for the $50, and I think the people.
But how long are you going to be playing that though? Who's gonna, really? I mean, we personally don't play Call of Duty.
I agree.
We didn't stay with it that long to the point where we'd play all of the map packs. So,
I agree that they're not trying to target. I mean, well, they are trying to target us because the more money we give them, obviously they're trying to target everyone. But the main target people who are going to be buying into this are those who have the time. So those of a younger audience now who aren't full-time people. I mean, if you're full-time out there with kids and you still have time to dig into this stuff, hey man, more power to you. I have yet to find time to juggle my life, and that's just me being married and owning a home and being a full-time freaking citizen. So but for me, I mean, I don't seem to have
full-time
time.
Citizen. What the fuck was that shit?
Full-time job person guy.
Full-time citizen protecting the neighborhood.
I don't protect shit. But anyway, if I don't have time for that stuff, so I'm not gonna put $50 down. I used to be able to do it with back in the day Call of Duty. I did it with Battlefield 3, and I played the everything fuck out of it. But by Battlefield 4, my life had changed so much, so drastically to the point that I just didn't have time for that anymore.
Well, to me, it's also a bit of that, but also kind of like, man, by the time all this other stuff's rolling out, I'll probably move on to something else.
Yep.
New game came out, a new single player game or something else, and that's got my attention. It's a newer game or just something I'm enjoying at the moment. So I end up just losing interest in that aspect.
Yeah. I also wish they would drop the season pass. And this is maybe a conversation for a whole nother day, but I really wish the industry would just drop the season pass aspect and just go to the surprise expansion pack, because I like getting that excitement. To me, I guess as a long-time gamer, someone who's been in this industry for so long, both working kind of for it and then also writing by it and being part of it by playing these games for so long, I don't like it when they try to sell me a game. And at the same time, hey, you want to give me $50 more for the future so you can play that thing that we're kind of promising right now, but we're not sure we're going to hit you with some quality stuff later on down the line? Like, no, motherfucker, let me play your game first, man.
Because I just gave you $60 and you want me to give another $50.
Exactly. Wait up. Let me settle in. Let me.
Well, of course, they'd rather secure your $50 when you're still hyped up about getting it right.
And that's the point.
That many maps. Hell yeah, sign me up.
Yeah, exactly. That's how they sell it, because that's exactly how they had me do it when I was working. Pushing this stuff. But I mean, at the same time, you're making money, but you know what? Now you're losing out on the rave reviews and all that stuff later on down the line, because the only thing you're gonna be hearing from are the diehards who have kept up with it, as opposed to, hey, this new DLC came out, let me draw in new people. And I think the only game I've seen do that with a season pass lately, besides Call of Duty, Call of Duty is a weird anomaly, man. I mean, when I was selling this stuff, yeah, Call of Duty, the new DLCs would draw people back in or new people in, but Destiny's been the only other game that I know that actually did it well. But yeah, I'm just sick of it. I'm just sick of it, and there you go. That's my piece in it. It's $50. You get a lot of content. Is it worth it now? No.
Yeah, I mean, everybody make their own decision on that. I think I'll wait for the first news on what's coming out, because I know there's new modes, and I'll make my decision then. But beyond that, I guess the other thing we talk about, which I don't think we have, is maybe the sound or just the Star Warsy feeling of it. This game does a hell of a job of drawing you in and making you feel like, holy crap! Right. I mean, I'm in Star Wars.
Yeah. I mean, the best way we can describe the sound, you are in Star Wars. The end. I mean, that's literally it. They perfected the damn thing.
Everything from the dialogue, the random banter from the heroes and the villains, or the actual soldiers, rebel soldiers, and the stormtroopers or the Imperial Army. I mean, it's spot on, man. It sounds like you're hearing lines from the movie. The weaponry sounds identical. The vehicles, TIE Fighter roaring with that scream that it does, it's there. Everything's there, man. It just sounds, looks, feels like Star Wars. I've never had a game draw me in that much as far as like making me feel like I'm in this universe as this game does. And I think that's part of the draw, because to be honest with you, one thing I'll say, if this game wasn't Star Wars, if it didn't have that nice, amazing, and I mean amazing coat of Star Wars goodness on it, it would be a generic online shooter, to be honest with you. Yeah, it'd be pretty lackluster. These are just modes. These are modes we've seen before. It's just obviously had a Star Wars twist on them. Vehicles and just a coat of paint on it, the armor, the sound, the visuals, the characters, everything is just that shiny, cool Star Wars aspect. But if you really break it down and look at it gameplay-wise and what it offers you, yeah, it's just your standard online shooter. There's not really much here it's not really much that you see here that you wouldn't see anywhere else. The only thing, I think there is a single player mode, which is a few modes where you do like some, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, like kind of like a horde mode or wave type things, and I believe some other options. But I'm sorry, we just haven't played.
Which the campaign you can do also with two players, either online or split screen as well.
There is a campaign then? Holy crap!
Well, what you just described practically is like kind of like the little. It's a weird half-assed little campaign. It's not really a full-fledged campaign.
Maybe we should try it out, but like to be honest with you, I have
zero interest in it. Yeah, I don't give a fuck.
I'm just happy with the online shoots. So
yep.
Jumping in and playing Star Wars, take a couple rounds, and it's perfect pick up and play game if you're looking for a cool shooter and you love Star Wars. Highly recommend it. If you don't care for Star Wars, which I know some people don't, this really doesn't do anything to redefine the online shooter. To be honest with you,
pass it up. The only thing I would say is if you want to play with a friend, join up, play with a friend, try out that co-op mode, split screen. If you end up falling in love with it, cool. Welcome to the world of Star Wars. Pick up the game, pick up the original trilogy, read a synopsis on the part 1, 2, and 3, and then jump into Force Awakens come next month.
And with that said,
Oh, hi, R2.
yeah, hey R2. That will wrap that up on Star Wars, and I think the actual that's pretty much it. I think that's all we got, right?
That's it. That's everything. I mean, there's not much more to say at this point. We'll see if we can touch on some Fallout goodness next time. Maybe you'd jump some more on that. Maybe I can get somebody else jumping on board.
I just honestly wanted to have more playtime with it. I think it's such a huge game.
Oh yeah, I don't believe
it. A few hours, you've barely scratched the surface.
Yep.
It's not like another type of game, a shooter or a first-person shooter or something that's more light on story or content that a couple levels or something you can get a nice impression. I've even though I've played quite a few hours, I feel like I haven't really done much.
Yep.
Just doing a side quest, traveling, just enjoying the sights. So we'll definitely talk about Fallout in the future. Hopefully by next episode we'll have some more info on that. Maybe as you mentioned, maybe have somebody else join us and talk about it, because I know I have a few friends myself that just haven't stopped playing that. And if Star Wars didn't exist, I'd probably be joining them. But hey, Star Wars exists, and right now I'm in Star Wars mood, which I think most of the world is right now, awaiting the new movie.
Star Wars.
Exactly. I know I got my tickets ready.
Yep.
So yeah, hopefully we got that coming up, and we'll talk about some other stuff, I guess. Hopefully.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. So.
Oh.
No way, R2. Nobody likes you.
Yeah, that's enough, R2.
But that's it for now. If you guys want to stick around, we got some more stuff coming. I know I should be getting next month's arcade block here shortly, so I should be unboxing that. Marcos, you just unlocked. Woo.
I unlocked.
You unboxed November's combat
damn
loot
it,
crate.
R2.
Damn, R2, stop it. Go away. Fuck, man. Somebody shut
Jesus,
that droid
stop.
up.
Damn it.
Where's 3PO when you need him? Wait. I'm sorry. That's wrong. You never need him. But yeah, you just I did it again. Holy shit! You just unboxed the November combat loot crate. Oops, sorry, I didn't mean to hit that. The November combat loot crate. I'm about to do the arcade block. I know there's that new, I forget the name of it. There's a Star Wars box coming up that Melvin wants to bring on down.
I'm interested in getting that myself, actually, depending on how much it is. I know right now that they don't have any details as far as cost and when it's coming out, but I do want to get it. It's going to be a bunch of Star Wars goodness right before the movie, if I'm not mistaken. And I'm actually signing up to the first ever loot anime crate, which promises to be, I think the theme is Brawl, if I'm not mistaken. So it's going to have some stuff from Kill la Kill, Naruto Shippuden, Attack on Titan. So I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be their first anime themed crate, and I'm going to be doing the inaugural crate, I guess.
Yep. And then after that, we'll probably get the next Marvel Collector Cores box. I'll be doing that with Josh again, probably around like the second week of December. So.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm gonna bake cookies.
Yeah. Awesome.
I'm gonna bake cookies and give them to everybody.
Can you bring them
not
over?
to you, to everybody. To everybody. I'm gonna mail them a cookie.
Awesome. Hell yeah. I'm down with cookies. I want mine to be chocolate chip, man.
No, you're not getting one. I'm trying to beat you.
No, I want chocolate chip.
No.
I want chocolate chip. Because when I get chocolate chip...
Oh, it'll have something chocolate colored in it.
Gross. But yeah, we're going to have the Marvel Collector Cores. Mark's going to bake cookies, and I'm going to bake cupcakes, and he's going to bake brownies, and I'm going to bake an actual cake, and then he's going to one-up me by actually baking a pizza, and then I'm going to... But it just keeps going. We're just terrible.
We'll be here all night.
But in any case, that's the show, guys. Like, comment, subscribe on the bottom if you're listening to us on the YouTubans. Otherwise, just keep listening to us on iTunes or come to the website and just kind of listen to us in the background as you play it in your car, on your phone, on your pooter, whatever you want. And we'll be here.
Let us know how we're doing. If you have any feedback, we'll take it.
Yeah. What do you guys want to listen to us... excuse me. What do you guys want to listen to us talk about next time? Let us know, and we'll hit the subject up, and we'll dig into it.
Yeah, if you're out there, let us know.
All right, and so until next time, guys, my name is Louis.
And I'm Marcos.
That's
R2.
No, he doesn't belong on the show. Stop it. Go away. No.
I think it might just be 2 idiots, a droid, and a mic from now
on. No, I don't got the money for that shit, man. You know how much droids want? Fuck, no. Get him out of here.
Especially R2-D2. We're paying.
Yeah, right. He's a famous droid. God, I would say Lucas
is expensive.
Yeah, I would say Lucas will let us, but it's Disney property now, man. They're gonna sue the hell out of us. No, get him out of here. I can't afford that shit.
Okay, I guess we can't really do much Star Wars things.
No. Oh. Bye, guys. Bye. I gotta keep that in there.
The worst ever, but that's
I'm gonna keep it in
amazing.
there. That was pretty cool, actually.
Yeah, you better keep that shit in there. That's fucking awesome. What do you Our first star guest.
Yeah, for sure. So until next time, my name has been my name has been Lewis. My name has been and always will be Lewis.
It's been Lewis.
And this guy over here.
And I'm Marcos.
There you go.